Hey. Hi. In this video, we talk about tracking sleep to make sure that you're getting enough of it. I commonly hear from a lot of people that they don't get enough quality sleep during the night. But how do you know this? These days, with the invention of smartphones and wearable fitness devices such as Fitbits, tracking your sleep can be a little bit easier for the layperson. Before I talk about how to track your sleep, it's important that we understand a little bit of the basics of what happens when we sleep. As we fall into deep sleep, our body will start to become paralyzed. Why is this important? It's the motion of our bodies that it gets picked up by the smartphones or the fitness devices, and it tracks whether or not you're in a deep sleep. Another thing to know about sleep cycles is the normal length of a sleep phase. Around 90 to 120 minutes is a normal sleep cycle. This is you going from awake right down into deep sleep and coming back out again. As the night progresses, this time may become shorter and shorter as we start bouncing between N2 sleep and REM. If you're one of those people that wake up towards the early morning and then it feels like you're waking up every hour on the hour, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Knowing what we know about sleep patterns, as the night progresses and our sleep cycles become a little bit shorter, you could be passing through a full sleep cycle and just waking up at the end of it because your body needs to get you to roll over. Another common problem that we see with people's sleep is called sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is where you actually stop breathing during your sleep. What we tend to see with people with sleep apnea is that they go from an awake stage down into N2 sleep, and as their muscle starts to lose tone and their airway starts to become less rigid, it completely closes over and their body forces themselves to wake back up again. So if we were looking at a person who had sleep apnea, they may be very jagged at the top of their lines. And this will become important later on when we look at some of our sleep data. Sleep apnea is extremely important and you need to get that looked at immediately. If you are not going into deep restorative sleep, you are not repairing and your hormones may be all out of whack. A simple discussion with your doctor can lead you to a great test and further investigations. Sleep apnea is very serious. Now there are a lot of apps on the market that will help you track your sleep. And one that I particularly like is called Sleep Cycle. Now I like Sleep Cycle for two reasons. The first one is the data. After every night of sleep, it will show you how your night played out in the way of a graph. And this is a very easy graph to understand. It has the graph broken into three stages: awake, sleep, and deep sleep. Now knowing what we know about sleep, our deep sleep would be the phase where our body isn't moving much. And the accelerometer in the phone has not felt any motion for quite some time. So it is determined that you are in deep sleep. The more we come out of deep sleep and we start moving around a little bit more in our sleep, the accelerometer will pick up on that movement and will determine that you're coming out of a deep sleep into our sort of restless awake phase. Now, why is that information so important? Because of the second feature that I like about Sleep Cycle, the smart alarm. You can set this alarm to wake you up by a certain time, but it will wake you up within a 30-minute window. Now, why is this important? Have you ever woken up out of a deep sleep and felt very groggy and restless, like you just didn't get enough sleep? The actual problem may not be that you didn't get enough sleep, but that you were woken at the wrong time of your sleep cycle. Funnily enough, if we get woken up while we're at our light sleeping phase, we can get up and suffer no sleep inertia. Every time I use my smart alarm, I always feel refreshed when I get up, as opposed to the conventional alarm when sometimes the timing is wrong and I feel like I've been ripped out of a sleep. Another way of tracking sleep is by wearing a wearable fitness tracker like a Fitbit. These work on the same premise as the accelerometer in the phone in ways that they pick up the movement of your body. So there you have it. Go ahead and download that app and start using it today. It may take a couple of days for it to calibrate, and there's a really good help section on the app that will help you further understand sleep. After a few days, you're going to have a baseline of your sleep. And this is really important when we start to add some things into your lifestyle, which is going to try and help your sleep. We need to know where you are now so we know whether we're making any improvements in the future. If you ever need help with deciphering some of the data that you've received from your sleep tracker, please don't hesitate to hit up myself or any of your other coaches at CrossFit Assassin. we'd be more than happy to give you some guidance. I hope this video has been helpful. In our next video, I'll talk to you about how to hack your sleep and how to make some positive improvements that you can start that night to get a better quality sleep.